It was a stormy night when Michael Carter first met the girl everyone said was impossible to handle. He wasn't supposed to be there that late, just a janitor finishing his shift in the marble halls of the elite Crestview Academy, but fate, as it often does, had a different plan. Lightning flashed outside the tall glass windows, illuminating a young girl sitting alone on the staircase, her expensive designer jacket soaked from the rain, mascara streaked down her face. Her eyes, cold, defiant, and heartbreakingly lonely, looked up at him like she was daring the world to care. That girl was Clara Reynolds, the only daughter of billionaire magnate Richard Reynolds, a girl who had broken every rule, been expelled from 2 elite schools, and built a reputation as a spoiled rebel no one could control. But that night, she wasn't the rich man's daughter. She was just a lost child, sitting in the dark, pretending she didn't care that she was crying. Backhand index pointing right. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of compassion, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Tales, where true stories of hope and humanity come alive. Michael had seen enough broken people in his life to recognize one when he saw her. Once, not too long ago, he'd been broken too, a single father raising his 8-year-old son, Noah, after losing his wife in a car accident that shattered his world. He had taken the janitor's job at Crestview to give his boy a chance at a better future, cleaning floors beneath the feet of people who barely noticed him. But that night, when he saw Clara shivering on those steps, something stirred inside him, the same instinct that made him hold Noah through sleepless nights when the boy cried for his mother. Without a word, he took off his worn-out jacket and placed it over her shoulders. She didn't thank him. She didn't even look at him. But she didn't push it away either. The next morning, the story began to unfold. Clara had been suspended again for fighting with a teacher. Her father, Richard Reynolds, was furious, but too busy to deal with her himself. The man had empires to run, meetings to attend, reputations to protect. So he did what he always did, he threw money at the problem. He hired tutors, psychologists, even life coaches. None lasted more than a week. She was wild, they said. Unmanageable. Broken beyond repair. But when Michael passed her in the hallway a few days later, something strange happened. She looked at him, really looked, as if she remembered that he was the only one who hadn't tried to fix her, only offered her warmth on a cold night. Days turned into weeks, and little moments began to build a silent connection between them. Sometimes, Michael found Clara sitting in the library after hours, pretending to read but mostly staring out the window. Other times, she'd leave behind little notes, sarcastic, careless scribbles that he'd find while cleaning the classroom. One read, "You can't fix a mess like me." He didn't reply in words, but one night, he left her a sticky note back. "No one said you were a mess. Maybe you're just a puzzle that no one took time to solve." That was the beginning of something neither of them expected. Michael never intended to be part of her world. He was just a janitor, invisible, quiet, humble. But Clara kept showing up, asking questions, following him during after-school hours, helping him mop the gym floor as if she was trying to prove something. It wasn't long before Noah, his son, got to know her too. The little boy, bright-eyed and gentle, didn't see the rich troublemaker everyone talked about. He just saw a sad girl who smiled only when she was around them. Clara started visiting their small apartment after school, often bringing leftover food from the cafeteria or chocolates she'd bought with her allowance. For the first time in years, laughter filled the air around her. But the world doesn't forgive easily, not for people like them. When Richard Reynolds found out that his daughter was spending time with the janitor's family, he exploded. He stormed into the school one morning, demanding answers, threatening lawsuits, and yelling that his daughter was being manipulated by a man beneath her class. Michael stood there silently as the man tore into him in front of staff and students alike. Clara, furious, shouted at her father that he didn't even know her anymore, that the janitor had done more for her than he ever had. It was chaos, and for the first time, Michael thought about walking away. But then, he saw the look on Clara's face, the same lost, trembling expression from that stormy night. And he knew walking away would break her all over again. So he didn't. He didn't fight back with words or pride. He just said quietly, "Sir, I don't want your money or your world. I just want your daughter to believe she's worth something." Those words, simple and sincere, silenced even the mighty Richard Reynolds for a moment. But pride is a powerful thing, and the billionaire left that day with cold fury in his eyes. Clara was pulled out of school the next morning. Weeks passed. The halls of Crestview felt emptier without her laughter echoing between them. Michael went back to cleaning floors, trying to forget. But Noah missed her deeply. Every night before bed, he'd ask, "Do you think Clara's okay, Dad?" And Michael never had an answer. Then, one afternoon, while cleaning the entrance lobby, he saw her again, standing there in her old uniform, a hesitant smile on her face. Her father had sent her back, she said quietly. Not because he wanted to, but because she had made a deal. She'd attend therapy, follow the rules, and graduate, only if she could stay in Crestview. And part of that deal, she insisted, was that she could work part-time with the janitor who made her feel human again. It wasn't easy. Some teachers mocked her efforts. Students whispered behind her back. But Michael never let her fall. He guided her through small things, showing her that value didn't come from power or money, but from the courage to care. She started helping other students, volunteering quietly in the art room, even tutoring younger kids. And in those moments, her anger began to melt away. The impossible girl became a miracle in motion. When graduation day came, Clara stood on stage, trembling but proud. Her speech wasn't perfect, but it was real. She spoke of second chances, of how one act of kindness could change a person's life forever. And when she looked toward the back of the hall, at the man in the janitor's uniform holding his little boy's hand, her voice broke as she said, "Sometimes, the people the world overlooks are the ones who save us." The audience fell silent, then rose to their feet in applause. Richard Reynolds was among them. Tears glistened in his eyes, not of shame, but of gratitude. That evening, he approached Michael quietly, without the arrogance he once wore like armor. "Thank you," he said simply. "For seeing my daughter when I couldn't." Michael just smiled and said, "She did the hard part herself." From that day on, things changed. Clara went on to study psychology, inspired by the man who taught her empathy. She stayed close to Michael and Noah, visiting them often, no longer the broken girl on the staircase, but a young woman who had learned what true strength meant. And sometimes, when she looked back at that night of thunder and rain, she would whisper a silent thank you to the janitor who didn't walk past her, who believed that even the hardest hearts could still find their way home. Backhand index pointing right. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Tales, and let us know in the comments if you believe that kindness can change even the coldest hearts. Speech balloon special request: comment below what you learned from this story, because your words might be the light that inspires someone else today.